This is a project I was working on. I wanted to work on an animal. So here is the sculptress character. I just looked at a bunch of National Geographic, Google images, any picture of a giraffe I could find. I looked at it on one screen and I sculpted on the other. And then when I got to a point that I liked, I brought it into Maya so I could re-apologize it, which is a word I might have made up. I'm not sure. I think I heard it before. So I did a better job on this one than the skate man. I mean, I had the same edge flow problem. In later versions, I spaced them out individually, just moved each vert. The edge flow goes around the eyes, around the mouth, the nose, same with the legs. So I got half of it, and then do the duplicating thing I showed you. -1, scaling on the x-axis instance to copy all the math information. So now I can model it and see the 3D form, which is nice. So then you go in, fix this seam here, and you're ready for the rigging process. So yeah, I fixed the edge flow problem so they're more even. So I unwrapped it. These are the legs and neck, body, head, and the texture wraps around it nicely. There's not much, well, I don't see any stretching of texture at all, so the unwrap was successful, but the problem is the seam here, where you can see very obvious because the texture doesn't match up where the head and the neck, oh, a head and neck. Thought I was dealing with a horse for a second. I hid one of the seams by putting the mane on here. The white is transparent when you render it. And I did that by finding, I actually stumbled upon a picture of a giraffe, close-up of its neck, and it was against a very blue sky, so I was just able to blue screen it out and copy it as many times as I needed. And it made a nice mane texture, which works at every angle except for that angle. So Mudbox is able to paint in 3D, so I can get this texture or another texture and use it as a stencil and paint straight on here. So I lost that file, but I saved the texture. So here it is. Oh, I didn't even talk about the rigging. I'll talk about that next. So this is where the seam is, right here. You can see it's perfect. Worked out very well. So I was happy with that. So I used the setup machine to do this giraffe. I ran into some problems, but I came up with some fix. I've seen people using the setup machine to do dogs and horses and a bunch of animals like that, but I've never seen it done on a giraffe because of the very long neck. And the setup machine comes with a tail option. My first attempt was to use a very long tail for the neck, but the head didn't attach to the tail for whatever reason. So I just made another torso. So this neck right here is actually just another torso. But it works fine. I'm happy with it. The one thing I would change about this giraffe would be I'd make it a bit more cartoony looking, because it's somewhat realistic. This is the mascot for my YouTube channel. I plan to make a logo animation with this guy eventually, so I'll update you guys on that. So I'll have to work on the story, the storyboards, and the other characters. I did a little test animation, but I only studied one video of a giraffe moving, and it was really, really sloppy. It was kind of late when I was animating this. It was like 4 in the morning, so I know this isn't exactly right. I know there's gotta be inconsistencies because The legs are like a dog or a human legs, obviously bending in the opposite direction of a human, but back legs are. Like if you look at a real giraffe skeleton, there's this third bone here. And when it bends, this kind of pushes forward. So when you look at a real giraffe, when this muscle right here bulges out when he lifts the leg, which makes sense. And this, it kind of shrinks in, it doesn't bulge out. It bulges out when you bring it down, which is the opposite of what it should do. An average person wouldn't know about the bone structure of a giraffe, so I'm not too worried. But maybe in the future I might want to go back and re-rig it to make it move properly. So anyway, that's what I've been doing all summer. Working on lots of projects, kind of jumping around in between a bunch of different projects, but never getting to the point of a final video, which is kind of a bummer. So I decided to make this video to show you guys I haven't just been watching Netflix. Been watching a lot of Netflix, but been doing some interesting, fun stuff in Maya, in Mudbox, and other programs. So don't like, don't subscribe, and if you leave a comment, make it negative.